So now that we have our assets imported, it's time to play around with our assets. So the first thing you want to do is to go to background and then click on this background image and then drag it into the center area and place it. As you can see, we have this little rectangle that is a bit outside of our background right now. This little rectangle represents how much the camera sees. So if you actually click on the main camera object right here, you see a preview that this background image that we have placed, it's not covering the entire picture, the entire thing that the camera sees, the entire space that the camera sees. And if we run our game, you see that we see the red color representing the spaces that are empty. And of course, we can change that red color to something else by clicking on main camera and then background and then changing the color. So if you run it again, you'll see that the color is now green instead. So to correct this, you click on background and then you go to the scale tool right here. So this is the first time we will be using it, and I want to introduce you to the scale tool. When we click on the scale tool, you see that we now have this axis that we can change. So we can change the size on our y-axis and on our x-axis, like this. And as long as our image is covering this entire rectangle that represents the camera, as I mentioned, you'll see that we do not see any empty spaces. We do not see any empty spaces on our screen. We also have things such as rotate tool, and of course, rotate tool handles rotation on different axes. So we can actually rotate it on this axis, or we can rotate it on let's see, on this axis. And you see that Unity is actually a 3D engine. Although we're doing a 2D game, we do have 3D capabilities. But obviously, if we are doing a 2D game, we will only be interested, we will mostly be interested in this axis right here. Let's see if I can click on it. Yeah, this axis. This one is most interesting in 2D games. Either left rotation or right rotation. So feel free to click around here and play around. And these are the two most important tools, the scale tool and the rotate tool. Then of course you also have the move tool if you just want to, move your object around. So if you click on it and you can click on the axis and you can move your object around. And that is basically all you need to know for now when it comes to placing your objects. Then if you go to assets, you can also place your character. And so you can see it gets behind the object. So if I just put it here on our working area and then I move it, you see that it doesn't really matter. It's not like if I move it above background, it will be drawn above the background. It doesn't really work like that. Instead, what you need to do is to go to the order layer right here, and you need to change it here. So if I click 1 here, you see that now it will be on top of my background. If I go back to my background and I click 2 here, then background will be drawn before, in front of my jelly. So the higher this number is, if I press 10 here, the higher this number is, the more in front it will be, the closer it will be to the camera. So this is order in layer. That is very, very important to understand. For now, let's keep the character here. Let's keep everything else here as well. And in the next lecture, we will be doing the environment. So I will actually be showing you how to build up the tile set, because you know that we have all of these tiles. And in the next episode, it will be time to put them to use. So I'll see you there, guys.